You are looking live at the Nasdaq, and it got rejected at its 50 simple moving average after the follow through day. Anyway, today it was down 219 points or 1.62%, closed at 13,314. Let's look a little closer at the index here. So I hear some people just getting really negative and down and frustrated. Don't be that way. Don't get it twisted. Let's just see what it's actually doing here. We had a follow through day on October 6th. Was not that long ago. It had some subsequent, up days that got up to the 50 and got rejected. Okay, that's fine. It's done that before. This line is supposed to act as resistance. Okay, it did have this one bad day here on the 13th, down 1.23%, where it closed near the low of its daily range, but just came right back up. This is Monday. This is Friday here, Thursday. Came up to the 50. Friday rejected. Then on Monday, it got right back up to its 50. Yesterday, which was Tuesday, came back up, got rejected, but closed near the high of its daily range. Today, clear rejection, went lower. Not the end of the day, not the end of the world. Let's just take it for what it is. I am bullish if it can get through that 50. And I would like it above that 13,714. I'm bearish if it takes out the low of this follow through day is 13,099. So that's pretty widespread there. 13,099 and 13,714, 615 points. But you can see it's just in a trade range. So there's no reason to get all panicky or go all cash. I know sentiment's really negative, and I think that's a good thing for people who are long. I'm going to get into that in a little minute, but just take it easy, relax. If you're a position trader, a swing trader, you're okay. The Nasdaq can clearly, take out that 50. It can also take out the 13,099. But we're just waiting on these mega cap tech stocks for their data points and see how the response is to it. It's not the news or the data itself. It's the market's reaction to the news. And anyway, I'm going to go through some of the mega cap stocks because these are the ones that move the Nasdaq. Actually, I time out. I should go back to the Russell 2000 index because I mentioned yesterday that it's starting to put in a bottom, and today it was down like 2%. This one's really struggling, and with a new uptrend, we want to see the smaller cap, the risk on stocks, do a little better. So that's definitely something to watch. Anyway, I pointed that out. I'm going to move to Apple. Apple struggling like the Nasdaq with the 50. Okay, that's not a surprise there. Microsoft doing a little better than Apple, not much, but a little better because it's above the 50 in these short-term moving averages. The green is the 10, the magenta is the 21. Now they've crossed above the 50, and that's what we want the Nasdaq to do right there. And it can happen. Just give it some time. This is historically a pretty good season for the market to start to rally. So just be patient and don't panic sell or make emotional movements or buys and sells. At least I don't. To me, this is kind of expected. Anyway, Google, another stock. I don't own Google, but I wish I did. Yeah, it was down 1.2% today. Big deal. Just pulled back to its 10 EMA. Any stock above the 10 EMA is trending nicely. And once again, like I mentioned, that these short-term moving averages, the green and the magenta are above the, I guess you'd call that pink, or above the red line, right? So that's what you want, the green and the pink above the red. Okay, anyway, Meta, another one of these mega cap tech stocks. It's just in a consolidation, pretty easy to see that. It got up to the buy point there around 326.20 and then pulled back to its 10. It's down 2% today, but all it did really is pull back to its 10 EMA. You can see that right there, 1.4% above the 21. So Meta is doing very well. Amazon, I thought they would do better. Down 2.54%. This is not, this is a weak stock. This is the weakest of the Magnificent Seven, believe it or not, even weaker than NVIDIA. Well, maybe I better hold off on that thought. we'll get there in a minute. Okay, so Tesla, I'm going to get to this one after hours. This is in the after hour camp, so I'm going to get to that one later. And I'm going to go to the, I'm going to take you to, I'm going to take you down the negative road and bring you back on the positive path today, starting with NVIDIA. This is just in a consolidation base between a 400 and 500, basically. Think of it between 40 and 50, if it makes you feel better, or 420 and roughly about 470. So it's a $50 swing. What was the high there? 476. So, the news the last couple of days was not good. Lam Research reported tonight. I'm going to get to that in a minute. ASML had a kind of a mixed report because they were talking about how the semiconductor business is like hit a bottom and they look to better times in 2024. But seeing is believing. You can't just talk about it. They didn't have a really strong report, and they're reliant upon China, as is NVIDIA. Anyway, a couple of these stocks, AMD below the 50 now, 102. They report earnings. You're just gonna have to wait. 2 weeks from yesterday. I did mention ASML. Yeah, pretty weak report. Like I said, a little too much exposure to China for me to be digging into this one. It was down 4%. The CEO did say that he thought the semiconductor, it's a very cyclical business according to his history, and even though semiconductors are in everything, but he seemed to think that the CEO seemed to think that the bottom is in the trough for semiconductor equipment stocks. So we'll see. We heard the same thing from Dell with PCs and AMD about the PC market, but we're just going to have to wait until the tide turns. Talk is cheap. Applied Materials, another equipment stock, semiconductor equipment stock, actually not bad today. Not even down 1%. Had an inside day, but you could see it's bumping its head up against that resistance at the 50, just like the Nasdaq did when it was rejected. ACLS is another one that I follow, I like, but below the 50 here, can't really like it too much. Had an inside day today, barely even budged. I'm going to go down more negative roads. There's plenty of negative roads to go down. So many roads. But TMDX, this one went from $100 to 42. That is quite a haircut. The story didn't really change. It doesn't have the earnings, and sales growth for this market. So that one at some point will be a buy, but I'm not going to take that one on right now. LNTH, this one, Lilly bought out its partner. Gosh, I forget the name of the partner, but it's got a little bit of a boost here. And now it's just kind of, it's trading. This to me looks like a little bit of a bottoming base pattern here for LNTH. But definitely not good. Shockwave, below the 200 is not good. Shockwave below the 200. This one's sold off hard. Dexcom, this is a diabetes equipment, maker, and of course with Lilly and Novo Nordisk with their weight loss drug. This thing's getting hammered. So you can see that these are really negative. Anyway, I'm gonna get you off the negative path and on the positive track, starting with those sexy insurance stocks. AJG, this one had an acquisition today and it fell. The market was down, I don't know, more than 1.5%. This was down 0.72. So that's a win. That's showing relative strength. BRO, this is one that I like because of the ticker, but it sliced its 50 and just forming a base here. Ryan is another insurance stock. Slice its 50 as well. So there's only a few of them that are holding up. We know AFLAC is one of them, was down 1.2% today, and ACGL, another one that is kind of broken away from this base, pulled back a little bit today, 1.35%, about what the index did. But still strong stocks in the insurance space. I did want to point out this one made a new high today and then pulled back and took out the low from yesterday. So that forms a bearish candle there. But we'll see what tomorrow holds. I'm going to go to the oil and gas stocks. Have to do it. Don't want to do it. Got to do it. And this is Diamondback Energy, and I got to go to the weekly. You can see on the daily how much it's really, spiked up the last 2 weeks, but it's just still in consolidation. I was going to put this one on my watch list, but it's just getting too extended. From its 10 EMA here, has made a nice move, the little shakeout, +3 move here, right? Or no, that's a Debo move. Yeah, just a slice below the 50 and then rally back up. So it's not a shakeout +3. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's going higher, right? CHRD, Cord Energy. Should have put this one on my watch list as well because of this little consolidation here. And see these little, as it ripped through the 50. This is a shakeout +3, as it has the first shakeout, then that second shakeout, which undercuts the first shakeout, then rips right back through its 50. Nice, more than 10% move there. Yeah, from 150 to 165, that's 10%, isn't it? And anyway, it's trading higher, so made a new high today. Cord looks good. PR is another one that is on our watch list, and it made a new high today, just forming this little base here. It's not a long base. It's only 7 weeks here, but I like stocks coming out of bases or in bases coming out of bases. You can see this one too, traded below its 50 and just rallied right back through. That one looks good. And RRC, this is another one on our watch list. This one has a long base, and I like these, stocks with big bases. As long as they've shown the ability to move higher in the past. I don't like stocks that go base after base after base after base, because all it is one big base for like years and years. Okay, that's it for the oil and gas stocks. I looked at my list today while I was out golfing, and my whole phone just showed all red on my watch list, except for a couple of stocks. ESTC was one of them, and it closed. Okay, it did close above them. All right. I was interested in this 82.84. It went above 82.84, but pulled back, closed below it, just with general market weakness. But it was upgraded today, and the stock responded well. You can see this big consolidation in the stage 1 base, and I told you I like big bases, and this one definitely applies. Yes, I do like ESTC. Do I own it? No, I don't. Not yet. I would like to. I would like the market to act a little better, but we can't always get what we want. This is VRNS. I mentioned this yesterday or the day before. This big gap higher, and added to its gains yesterday. Pulled back, 2% today. But if you look at the weekly chart, this is this stage 1 base with a pivot at $30. And got into another, flat base pattern. It's now 10% above the original pivot, which is not crazy, but it would probably be, an area of interest. Let's put it that way. CrowdStrike is another one that I had on the watch list a while back. I was telling people that, be patient with it. It was doing this, right? This little bull wedge pattern here. It was wearing people out from 172 to 157. It's like, man, this thing's never going to go. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's at $190, right? But I kind of like this little pattern as well. This is like a little shelf pattern here after the big move. So definitely keep an eye on CrowdStrike. Palo Alto Networks is on our watch list. It's doing pretty much the same thing as CrowdStrike, except for CrowdStrike already moved higher. This one is in a base here. You can see this clearly defined consolidation pattern and trading tight. So I like, I like any stock that's up on a weekday like today, but I like this stock in consolidation. Zscaler is another one that, it's just nuts. I do not like that one. Zscaler setting up in this base here still. I don't consider this a breakout. If you're one of those Darvis traders, you would call this like a Darvis box, right? It hasn't broken out of the box yet. 162, yeah, it's at 170, but I think this little shelf type pattern, it's going to move higher. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it with Zscaler. All right. I've got to go to some stocks that I like that, you got to acknowledge these. Eli Lilly here. The market was, people are panicking and very frustrated and down. This thing was down 0.18% today on really light volume. You can see the volume drying up here. They got earnings coming up. Just tells you that investors aren't willing to sell this stock. And I have the 601.84 as an area of interest, but man, when the Nasdaq or the index is down like that and this stock barely budges, you got to take note of that. Novo Nordisk was down 0.5%, but kind of the same thing here. That it hit that 100 level, and investors are willing to pay 100, and they're not selling it below 100. So you got to like that type of action. Bentley Systems is another one, just forming this base here. Had an inside day today, and if it tightens up, I'd be really interested, like it did here below the 50. Now trades up, and if it can tighten up within the base there, that would be really nice. And today was a good start here with barely moved today, with the Nasdaq showing the real weakness. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thanks for watching, except for I lied. I got one more thing, and that is some of the earnings after hours tonight. And I was watching Tesla, the stock. I thought it would go down with the really weak numbers. They missed on revenues, missed on earnings, but they reaffirmed their deliveries for the year, 1.8 million, and they said the Cybertruck's going to be delivered in the Q4, which is either November or December. It's coming up, so they're making promises. And when a company reports earnings like Tesla did today, which was pretty weak, and the stock doesn't go down, it's actually up after hours, that's a really good sign that forget the news, it's the reaction to the news. And if Tesla wants to go higher, I'm definitely interested in this one above this 50 simple moving average, which is about 250. So I'm watching that one tomorrow. Another one was Netflix. This one's been beat up, and it's up, wow, now it's almost 13%. So I was thinking about 400 tomorrow, which would coincide with the 50 right here. I would think that would prove resistance there. Yeah, 401.65. So good for the longs for Netflix. It certainly has traded from 485 to 346. That's quite a haircut. So it's going to get some back tomorrow. And their report, gosh, let me see. Their subscribers were impressive. The cost of adding subscribers was a little more than they would like, though. And the buyback. Yeah, they have a stock buyback. And the writer strike is over, and there's some things. They got to get the actors back to work, but things are looking better for Netflix, which is in a very competitive streaming market. They are the kings, though. So if you want to buy a streaming stock, you want to buy the leader, and Netflix is definitely the leader. Las Vegas Sands reported tonight after the close. They're up nearly 5%, so that's good. They wanted a what was it? Oh, they beat on earnings and revenues, and kind of a rosy forecast, but they have a significant stock buyback program as well. So Las Vegas Sands, keep your eye on the leisure gaming stocks tomorrow. And the last one is Lam Research. Once again, too much exposure to China, I believe. They had a beat and raise quarter, though, when it's down 3%. I'm not sure if that's going to hold tomorrow. I'm definitely going to be watching for that, because the semiconductor stocks have been strong, and now they've consolidated in a base. So once again, you just got to watch for this stock to get above the 50 here tomorrow, which would be about 651. So yeah, I'm not so sure about that move after hours with the data that they reported this afternoon. But like I say, it's not the news, it's the response to the news. And I've seen some stocks go down after hours, pre-market, even the next day, and then a few days later, another week, rip higher. So definitely be watching that one. Anyway, that really is it for me today. And at MC Stock Charts, we're on yellow. We're cautious, but still invested. And we never give up. That's for sure.